While a lot of the news this year about Overwatch 2 has been really negative, I'm actually excited today to kind of be very optimistic and satisfied with the Sombra rework, man. The developers did a fantastic job redesigning this hero, and this might be the single best rework they've ever done in Overwatch history. I've been playing a lot of Sombra at the start of this season. It's been a lot of fun. I've got a great win rate in GM1. Despite a lot of people saying she's bad, she's just got a very difficult playstyle and is very, very punishable. It reminds me a lot of DPS Doomfist and the way that you would kind of be inting for value and playing very aggressively. I have a very high deaths per 10 stat, but I also have a very high win rate. It really reminds me of DPS Doomfist, and it's probably why I've enjoyed playing the role so much and why I've been able to pick it up so quickly. Let's go ahead and break this Sombra down. What did they actually do right? What about these changes make them so satisfying to play, and what does the hero design team really deserve credit for, right? Let's start by talking about the first rework for Overwatch 2. That one was just bad. Again, that was still under the old design team, right? And I'll just be honest, I don't know what they were thinking when they were making that character, right? I think when everybody saw the ability to hack whilst in stealth, we all knew that it was just going to be terrible, especially when there's only one tank in the game, right? You know, hacking and stealth, there's no counterplay to that, and that was the entire frustration around Sombra. It's like, hey, it feels cheesy. There's no way to really play around it. Low-level players are bad with it because they stay in permanent stealth the whole game, and it's just not fun. So, you know, when the game first came out, she was insanely broken. They had to nerf her, right? And then it took a while to tune it, but the way that she flowed, it didn't solve that problem, right? But where I have to give Alec Dawson's team credit is how they made Sombra so much more fair to play against, right? Good Sombra players can still get a ton of value, but she's actually punishable now if she misuses the Translocator, right? But we'll get into the Translocator here in a bit. The first rework, though, the bottom line, it was universally disliked. It was silly, it didn't flow well, it was just as annoying, if not maybe more annoying, because she had more lethality from her opportunist passive, which let her do more damage to targets that were hacked, who she could hack whilst in stealth. How are you supposed to interact with that as a player? You're not, right? It was a silly rework, and this one really addressed that going forward. So let's talk about her lethality and how they changed it, right? If you're going to change Sombra the way that you did, you have to make her gun way more competitive. And they did that by reducing the amount of bullets until the spread happens, right? And they did that with another ability as well. But most importantly, the gun, they gave it way more lethality, way more accuracy, so it's a little bit more reliable when poking even from range or up close, because she kind of has to be almost like a tracer, if you will, right, in order to get her value. So they really did a great job of tuning the gun to make it much more fair and compensate for the way that they changed her playstyle, which means being way more active in the brawl. They did a great job. It feels fair. It felt tuned. It felt like you had a great chance to kill targets. Even the support heroes that have all these overpowered abilities, you actually have a legitimate chance of killing them, unless it's, of course, a Kiriko, which, you know, I wonder who said that hero was going to be super OP, and guess who's been S tier this entire time. Yeah, it's just, you know, who would have thought being able to teleport through walls twice every 14 seconds and toss an invulnerability cleanse that makes you a ghost, it would be strong. With a 2-tap to DPS, right? And bigger hitboxes on him. Insane character. She definitely is Sombra's biggest thorn in the side when going up against supports, for sure. But no, I mean, you know, if you land your virus, which we're going to take this conversation to next, it actually is, you know, most characters are pretty doable, particularly DPS. So, like here, I've had a lot of success against heroes like Sojourn, Genji, Sombra just deletes, right? Tracer, Sombra just deletes if you get the hack off, right? Virus is a great ability. It's a skill shot that you actually have to land that does additional damage or additional burst damage quicker if you have hacked the target. So I believe Virus, if you hack a target, it does 100 damage over 2 seconds. Maybe it's 120 damage over 2 seconds. And then if the target is not hacked, it's 100 over 4 or 120 over 4. I forget the exact number. The bottom line is, it kind of is like a Junkrat mine, where if you hit it, the target's HP gets bursted down way quicker, especially if they're hacked. So a lot of the times what I'm doing is I'm translocating up in the air and hacking someone on the way down, looking for the virus after, rinse, repeat, right? So landing that virus gives her a ton of lethality in the backlines, but you actually have to be a good player, land the shot, the players can react to it, they can dodge it. It feels like much more of an actual DPS duel, and it actually really fits Sombra into the DPS category better than she ever has in her lifespan in Overwatch, which is why the devs really deserve credit. Like, I'm telling you guys, this is easily the best rework I think they've ever done. Like, they nailed this one. This one was freaking fantastic. So, Virus is a good ability. A lot of people were concerned that it gets spammed on tanks. I find myself looking for final blows with it on squishies more than anything, right? It's just a squishy deleter, and it is so good, and I think this is why I love it so much. It is so good against Widowmaker, man. I cannot stress to you guys enough how good this rework is against Widowmaker. It finally feels like, because they nerfed Genji so hard in this game. Like, Genji at my rank is terrible. He's only really getting picked if in a queen meta or a queen mirror, right? But Genji against Widow, like, the Widow is just so favored, it feels like. And when you're getting a top 500 Genji against a top 500 Widow, the other team will just counterpick the Genji and he can't do anything, right? But Sombra actually duels Widow very well as a flanker and can force her out of the game. She's actually pretty good against Hanzo too. Two characters that she really kind of struggled with. Maybe not so much Widow as Hanzo. She actually has a very good chance at dueling. It really is incredible how they really made her a great flanker duelist. And I'd say she's better than Tracer in the game right now, because Tracer's win rates have plummeted due to how broken Bap and Illari are, and frankly the support passive, Sombra has a much better chance against those heroes than Tracer does. So she's probably the best flanker in the game right now, in my opinion. But yeah, that's Virus looking for those big combos against heroes like Widowmaker, just insanely strong, super good. Let's talk about Translocator. I was super concerned about Translocator. I thought the new Translocator was going to be bad when I first looked at it, but I said, you know what, hold on a second, let's try and play it and see how it goes. Man, they nailed it. Perfect. Literally perfect, man. It has a high skill ceiling. You have to be smart to use it. And I've found the most effective way to be using it is to be tossing it up in the air mid-fight and decloak on the way down, and just kind of be rinsing and repeating and treating it almost like a Doomfist uppercut, right? Just to get out of the fight, get that stealth proc, get in there fast, translocate up. You play like a rabid dog, and it takes a really fast play style, and it's not a hero that's meant for everyone. But if you're a good player and you get used to that kind of stuff and you can adapt, man, it's so good. You absolutely can create very big opportunities with it. You can get in and out of fights very quickly. You can still traverse distance. I find that it was very smart for them to let you go into stealth very quickly, because you can still be found, since they know exactly where you are, but it still gives you the options to get in and out of the fight. Having the Translo proc the stealth really fast was a great decision, and it actually flows super well. So that was my big concern. It was like, okay, well, she's just Transloing mid-fight. You have to be able to throw it faster, which they changed. You have to be able to get into stealth quickly, which they changed. And you have to be able to get it quickly and just be able to cover a good distance, so they changed, like, again, that throwing speed, right? So, man, they really nailed it, and they made it so that it actually impacts things that you throw it at, too. So if you only want to go a short distance, you can throw it, like, at a wall or something and get it off quickly. So it still has a ton of versatility. I would say it's actually more versatile now than it was before, due to its speed and just how quickly it can get you into stealth. I think it was an absolute great decision. I think the way they made it was great. Seriously, I was so scared about that one. It ended up playing great. So, man, good stuff on that one. And then stealth as a passive is so much better, and here's why. I think the big trap that Sombra led players into, especially low rank players, right, was permastealth. I think permastealth was the dumbest thing that Overwatch ever did to Sombra. Maybe one of the dumbest abilities they ever put in the game, for a couple reasons. One, obviously, you can't really interact with it. How are you supposed to know where it's coming? Like, that's not favorable to the player. And I actually remember Jeff Kaplan saying this at the very start when Sombra came out. They said they were concerned that permanent stealth was too strong of an ability in an FPS game. And it kind of was. It was. I wouldn't use the word too strong in hindsight, because hindsight's 2020. I'm not trying to flame him for this. It just is corny, and it doesn't feel good, right? It gives the players all the wrong idea, because low SR players would sit around in permanent stealth and not do anything the entire game, right? They would think they're contributing, but they're just invis. And anytime you're in stealth, your team is 4v5, right? You don't have that actual player in the fight, right? So low rank players would always struggle with Sombra. Her win rates were always negative, because they'd be staying in stealth too much and not actively doing things in the fight. And then your Translocator would have to be across the map, where your fight downtime is even higher. But now, because it's just a passive, right, you go in and out of it when you need to. You'll be in the fight pretty consistently, because your Translocator forces you to stay where your supports are, which the big problem with Sombra right now is support players are not used to having to heal her, right? But I've still been making it work. I think as players get better and get used to this new Sombra, support players are going to realize, oh, shoot, I need to actually be healing my Sombra. And once they realize that, the hero's going to get better and better and better. But yeah, no, like the permanent stealth, that was the big thing, especially for low-ranked players. I think crushed her win rate was that, look, you know, you shouldn't be sitting in stealth all game. It was just a bad feature. But now that it's a passive, it's not really permanent stealth anymore, because if she comes out of the stealth, you know she's actually punishable, and she's not going to translocate way across the map where you just can't kill her, and she's going to go right back in like really, really quickly, right? That's not going to happen. She's kind of stuck in that fight on that tempo. So while it is kind of, I wouldn't even classify it as permanent stealth, to be honest with you. I wouldn't, because her activity in the fight is so much greater that the corny part of the stealth isn't really there anymore, because she's going to commit on something, she's stuck there, right? She can't just get out for free. So it's not like, oh, I'm running around in stealth and I'm going to annoy people for a couple seconds, come back in. No, like you're in that fight, like you're committed, right? And if you commit, they can kill you. So it's just, they eliminated the problem of permanent stealth in the game, and the stealth as a passive, it's just so much better. It's so much better. So it's just, man, I was surprised. I was getting ready to be like, oh, am I going to have to flame them again? Like, am I going to have to sit here and say this rework's garbage? No, it's not. It's actually really, really good. This is the best one they've done. So hack is still very similar. EMP is now a combo tool for your virus engages, right? So the EMP nerfs, I think they might have overdone it, to be honest with you. I don't think they needed to nerf the charge up time. I found my damage per 10 to be pretty close to the same as Sombra. A little bit higher, right? But I'm worried the EMP nerfs were a little too hefty. But no, I mean, EMP, it's not really a finishing tool anymore. It's more so a hack everyone and then try to get a virus combo off. So like you translo in EMP and then you cast your virus on a squishy and just try to make them explode really fast, right? It's still a good ult though. It's still a good play style. It's more of a skill shot to actually get the value on finishing the EMP targets, which is great. It still cancels ultimates. I'm not saying it should be buffed, but I think that's the one part of the kit I'm unsure about right now, where I'm like, okay, how good is this really? When there's constant immortalities, constant cleanses, right? Healing is insanely strong. Now, when Blizzard actually comes to their senses and nerfs supports, it might be a different conversation, right? But as of right now, we'll have to keep a close eye on that one. But no, I think the EMP, like hack is still very similar. You can't hack in stealth anymore. It's more so, I wouldn't even say hacking targets is mandatory to get the virus off. Don't try to force the hack. Sometimes if they don't have cooldowns, you can just go to kill them, right? Or translocate straight up in the air, hack them on the way down, then look for the virus, right? But you can only do that when you're in your support's range. But no, it's great, man. It's great. EMP still a strong ult, and the risk to reward, new ways to play the game. It's definitely a viable hero and has a strong niche, maintained its identity. They did everything that you want to see with a rework happened with this Sombra. And they should be thrilled about it, to be honest with you. So, like, as frustrating, as poorly as supports have been handled right now, which I don't think I've ever seen a role be this broken and just unfun to play against, they should be really patting themselves on the back with how they handled Sombra. I think the way they reworked DPS, generally speaking, has been pretty good over their time. And this one definitely fits the bill, and I gotta rank this as numero uno for the best rework that they've ever done. So really great job. I think what I love is just the risk to reward to it. It's like a modern Genji, right? Where Genji's just been dog forever, which is why I stopped playing him. And it's also kind of why I stopped playing Doomfist. That's gonna be my next video is, I'm gonna talk about why I was really looking forward to playing Tank Doomfist, but you guys haven't seen me ever really play him. At least, I didn't really play in seasons 5 and 6 of Overwatch 2 because I was working on Mindplex, but I've got some downtime in between my my next big workflow and what I have to be doing. So Mindplex is still coming, obviously. And so I've been playing this season, but I think the risk to reward feels great. It's a new, innovative way to play the game. It really is a new hero, and it captures what made Overwatch Game of the Year. It captures what made Overwatch so fun. New, engaging ways to play an insanely low skill floor. Well, no, I wouldn't say insanely low, but a fairly low skill floor with an insanely high skill ceiling. The journey of learning this character captured the original feeling that I had when learning Overwatch for the first time and playing the game, and that made it so much fun. She feels like the best flanker to go up against supports because you can pick and choose your engages, and you actually have burst damage now. It's so nice, man. I gotta give him credit. You guys have been asking me my thoughts on the Sombra rework. This is the best one they've done. Big kudos to the dev team. And I know everybody sitting here and said, Sam, you're the Blizzard's #1 hater. Dude, if they do something good, I say they do good. If they do something bad, I say they do bad. It's that simple. Unfortunately, there's just been a lot of bad this year. And there's been a lot of bad surrounding this game. So it's actually nice to come out here and make a video and just say, look, this was good. So yeah, guys, if you've not played the new Sombra, I really encourage you to do so. I'll probably probably make a Sombra guide this week for you guys and just kind of break down what I've learned and talk about, you know, the best ways to play the character and, you know, give you guys some tips and tricks along the way. But if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're back multi-streaming now on every platform. So if you want to watch on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, whatever it may be, I'm working on Kick, Facebook, TikTok, right? We're going to be trying to get all those and just spice things up and get back into streaming. You know, I stopped streaming really all summer and I was miserable, boys. I was miserable. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't doing anything. I was like, I realized something. I was like, dude, I need to be working constantly. I can't be sitting around doing nothing. I'm too ADHD to not have something in my hands, right? So yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy the new Sombra. So big shout out to the dev team again. I'll see y'all next time. Big Group Up podcast on Friday. Be ready for that one. All right, see y'all later. Take care. Peace out.